Alright, hello everyone and welcome to round number 8. This time we've got Pbhead and Blackmagic, I believe number 2 and number 4 currently in our round robin June 1v1 tournament. Steel and aluminum starting a bit more expensive this time, electronics also doing well, but of course the ever cheap chems are also being consumed by the colony, so that's not going to be all that helpful this game. Also, this map is awful. Got a few patches of iron scattered about. We've got like a couple small water patches. Cliffs literally everywhere. The high silicon is alone on a cliff. You can't even slant drill that thing. The medium silicon has also managed to position itself very helpfully away from all the other silicon, so all of the adjacency is down here at this low patch, which is just hiding from all the other resources because they just don't feel like being friends. Silicon doesn't like other resources. I don't know what it is. I'm so glad I'm not playing this game. So, Pbhead has elected to go for a robotic. Blackmagic went for expansive. Blackmagic taking the first found. He goes ahead, grabs up. He's next to some aluminum, which is fine. That'll allow him to transition the aluminum later on. Also leaves him pretty close to the water, which is nice. I'm a little concerned about the fact that Pb is going to get to upgrade first. So Pb might be able to take the high water tile safely on the back of this upgrade. We'll just have to see how everything goes. Blackmagic, meanwhile, still stuck at HQ1, going to be there for a little while, trying to produce steel, but with steel being so expensive on the back of just one steel mill, this is going to be a bit difficult to accomplish. Pb is selling down steel, which will help out Blackmagic to push to that upgrade a bit faster, but of course it does mean that Pb making a pretty significant amount of money. Blackmagic, did you just sell down all your steel? What did you get with that? You got a mutiny. No, Pb took the mutiny.
The black market is open for business.
Well, okay, Blackmagic still has some steel again. That price has been fluctuating a lot, and Pb I'm pretty sure was auto-selling. Is Blackmagic trying to affect iron? But Pb has enough iron now. That's not going to do anything but cost money. Blackmagic did get to a claim and went ahead and threw down a steel mill. That's what I was expecting to see. I just noticed the 3.5 and got confused. Anyway. So he has an extra steel mill now, but he sold down a bunch of steel to get it online, so now Pb is HQ3 to HQ1 of Blackmagic. Have I mentioned I don't like expansive in 1v1? And this is pretty much why, by the way. We can just point all this out very easily. So, robotic has two big advantages at HQ1 over expansive. The first one is that it only needs 40 aluminum to upgrade instead of 80 aluminum, so it needs half the aluminum. This leads into and kind of allows its second advantage, where it can get away with easily throwing down just one iron mine and 2 steel mills, or even 3 steel mills at HQ1, depending on what starting prices are, because they don't need to worry about securing that aluminum quickly. Because they don't need the aluminum the rest of the game. Even if they don't get a great aluminum patch immediately, they'll still be alright, typically, because they don't need as much aluminum as everybody else for those upgrades. I'm actually kind of concerned about the fact that Pb took 2 aluminum tiles, but it did allow him fast upgrades, and they're pretty close to his base. He'll just need to use them for power or something later on. Anyway. All of this led to Pb developing a 2 HQ lead almost immediately this game, because Blackmagic, he felt he had to buy an extra claim in order to just get the pair of steel mills online, because he needed the iron, but he also wanted the aluminum because he wanted to secure the aluminum because he needed 80 aluminum to upgrade. Now, I think that was a mistake out of Blackmagic, and I think he should have just gone for an iron double steel mill. And he'd be in a lot better spot this game. But also, I just don't like this found in general, because in FFA, I think this found works just fine. In 1v1, though, it's a different story. Because in FFA, it's a lot more important to have your aluminum adjacent to your base, because it's more important to be able to transition it at certain points, because typically everybody's going to take aluminum, aluminum's going to flood, it's going to be awkward, And you want to take aluminum just in case people don't, because aluminum is one of the most important resources in the game, and you don't realize that till nobody has it. But in 1v1, the problem is you want the iron immediately so you can start your steel production and make sure it stays online, because you need that steel, especially when steel starts at $120, to be able to push to the upgrade, and the aluminum can wait for just a moment. So you found closer to the iron a little bit, if you can. Get the iron quickly, get that steel production going, and then take the aluminum a little later. It has to ship, that's okay. Anyway, just an awkward situation all told. All this said, Pbhead's really struggling to hit HQ4. He jumped up to 3 instantly. Now he's throwing down solar panels in order to try and take advantage of this high power price. It looks like he has a geotherm. 2 geotherms online for him, and then another one taken away from him. So Blackmagic went ahead and grabbed that, trying to use that to pull in some power money. Maybe this is where Blackmagic's edge is, right? Maybe Blackmagic can make enough on power, because he didn't have much production for a very long time, despite founding first. Maybe he can use this power to make some money, start trying to push back into this game, because Pb seems to be struggling right now. He got these geotherms online, but now his steel is absolutely worthless. He could try and move into chems, but he doesn't really have carbon for that. Carbon's expensive. He could try and move into carbon, but if we look at where the carbon is, there's some there, there's some there. I mean, look at this carbon. Isn't this just like the most disgusting thing you've ever seen? Whole bunch of medium carbon tiles spread across the map. It's just ridiculous. That core sample, though, this is interesting. Look at this. You could core sample like this silicon here. Get a pair easily right next to your base. You could core sample next to some of the carbon. Maybe not necessarily this carbon, but maybe you could core sample not next to this carbon either. This is ridiculous. So Pbhead's actually just going to take the lone high silicon and call that good this game. Not going to look for any adjacency. Where's the rest of this carbon? You can't even core sample this one. You can core sample these though, right? You can core sample here. Probably come up with some carbon, get some adjacency if you wanted some carbon coming in for later in the game, for these chemicals and potential electronics people want later. What did Pb do with them? He hasn't used them yet. You could also core sample pretty easily some water. This location should be likely to yield some water from a core sample. That may be the only one. These might be water likely, I think, but they're not adjacent to any water. I think there are some water potential spots, but for most of them you'd have to spend both core samples if you wanted it to be decent. Other than that, you're looking like here and here. This is pretty decent. Pb did use them. Was that next to his base? Looks like he just used them next to his base here, I think. I don't think these used to be water tiles. And that'll work too. This was likely water. I'm just a bit surprised he didn't do it out here. I think that's what he did with them. Core sample, pretty strong this game. I'm actually surprised it went for as low as 7,000. I guess that's partially because Blackmagic was trying to make, or pretty much entirely because Blackmagic was trying to make money and power in the moment. But power has faded away at this point, so I don't know if that was exactly the correct decision. But it does look like he pulled in a few thousand extra based on that. Pbhead making food, Blackmagic is not. Blackmagic not pulling in much of anything, it would appear. He tried to make some... Well, he's got some glass bought up. He needs this steel to be able to upgrade, but even then, he'll still be 3 to 4. Now, the robot expects to keep an HQ advantage throughout most of the game because it is easier for him to accomplish it, and he needs to stay that far ahead in order to deal with the expansive late-game power. But this is still a very big gap. 4 to 2. And it's taking a long time for Blackmagic to catch up each time Pb actually manages to push to this upgrade. All that said, both players are moving really slowly this game because this map is so awkward. The auctions haven't been particularly helpful, like a mule. That's interesting, but not necessarily what you're after. Now, Blackmagic, if he picks this up, could use it to grab some carbon, maybe out from under Pb. sell that down or use it to make chems, potentially. That could all be fine. Blackmagic still hasn't even taken water yet this game. That's just how awkward this has been for him. And now these double wind turbines are really causing problems because they're worthless. And he hasn't even managed to push to 3 yet. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tiles. Once again, 1/4 of his tiles doing nothing here. This tile also doing nothing because it would just be losing money. And the steel and the iron aren't even doing much. There's just almost nothing happening in Blackmagic's territory.
An expansive HQ has been upgraded.
That said, he does manage to get pirates down on some silicon. Gonna try and get a fair amount of that away from PB. They'll be splitting that silicon profit instead of it all going on over to Pbhead for the moment, which is gonna be good for Blackmagic. On this upgrade, he will get to push to his high water tile that's nearby. He's also going to go ahead and take a medium carbon. I think this is a mistake. This is definitely the medium carbon you take. It's closer, it's better, and your mule will just reposition to this carbon quite cleanly, so there's no issue there. Well, there is this medium silicon that Blackmagic is managing to take for himself that we did see quite a long time ago this game. This is such a slow-moving game. I do like the carbon pickup, though, because it should allow you to more easily push into chemicals eventually. That said, PB is already in chemicals, as he did secure the carbon quite some time ago. I wouldn't be too surprised if PB pushed to a second carbon, but I also wouldn't be too surprised if he didn't. PB's always going to be in this awkward position this game, though, where he pushed to 3 geotherms, and they were fairly cheap in the moment when it came to resources, but they're very expensive when it comes to claims. A standard robot only has, I believe, 18 claims on HQ5. He's managed to buy a few more, almost certainly from the black market by now. Maybe pick up an auction here or there that's given him some extras over the course of the game, you know, by the time's all said and done. But that's still, you're talking about 1/6 of your claims committed to power, which is worthless at just a base level. And that's definitely a bit of a concern. Also, you can see PB is starting to kind of feel the vulnerability of his found location where he is on this cliff. There's not a whole lot he could do about that this game, given that there are cliffs literally everywhere. But these EMPs are going to be quite painful for him as he tries to try and push to actually killing off Blackmagic. I mean, we're talking about PB's problems, but let's be honest, Blackmagic's are way worse. He's still HQ3 to HQ5. We're talking about, let's go ahead and count the claims here, because I don't have anything better to do right now, apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 claims. 12 claims for Blackmagic, it looks like right now. Whereas PB has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 16, 17, 20, 21. 21 claims. 22 claims, maybe 23 claims? I'm not sure if I counted that already. So that's a giant difference, right? Like twice as many claims. That's a lot, as it turns out. PB also has the patent lab secured, which is going to give him teleportation and thinking machines before too terribly long. Is what he's chosen to go after this game. Got it next to the labs, so it will be working a little bit faster than a standard patent lab. As long as he can churn through a lot of patents, that will be quite valuable. Why are my patents so cheap? Because it's 1v1. You can tell how often these players use patent labs in 1v1. Yes, I see that your patents are so cheap. It is intended behavior. Patents have reduced costs in 1v1 in order to encourage the patent lab's use, because the patent lab used to be utterly and completely worthless. Alright, well, Blackmagic has managed to push to HQ4. We'll explain all this to PB after this game. I'm not going to bother talking right now. I'll just say...
The market is open for business.
There. Oh, I actually show up as observer now. That's interesting. So... we've got chemical refineries online finally for Blackmagic. That's going to be good money in his pocket, but of course, PB has decent money elsewhere. The thing is, Blackmagic has managed to get triangles down, and that's actually a really big difference between triangles and pairs. Now, PB has so much cash that he's just going to end the game in a moment here, and this is all moot. But yeah, Blackmagic just concedes finally. That's fine. But you can see that Blackmagic was actually making more per tile there than any of PB's production, because triangles are just that much better than pairs. Pairs give you the equivalent of 3 buildings of production. Triangles give you 5.25. So that's an extra 2.25 buildings in exchange for 1 claim, effectively, worth of production. Just something to consider. Upgrading to the pair gives you an extra 2 buildings over the single, but upgrading to the triangle is even better. Gives you an extra 2.5. It is a greater increase to go from a pair to a triangle than a single to a pair. Just something to consider. That was pretty straightforward. Blackmagic basically killed himself on Found. Literally could do nothing all game. Taking this aluminum mine, this aluminum mine was a huge mistake, and it's just the kind of mistake that's unrecoverable. You have to get your Found correct. Founding is so important. And Blackmagic just couldn't recover. Still though, nice win over to PB, which will push him into round number 9 against DT. So it just turned out that in our round robin, we've got PB and DT against each other in the last round. And I do believe, if things have been continuing this way, they're going to be our top 2. DT did lose a match already, though. He lost to Duban. Duban clawing his way back into it. So that gives PB a chance to really solidly take this one. PB will go up to 7-1 after his victory against Blackmagic. Deathtacticus is up against Dermas. Dermas could certainly pull off that win. So, but regardless, PB enters 7-1. DT enters either 7-1 or 6-2. So it will still matter who wins this, I think, on the tiebreaker. Who beats who, effectively.